First off, I'm going to ask a question. How will society change to cope with rising demands for energy with valuable non-renewable resources running out? I'm going to talk about the article Exploring New Energy Alternatives by David J. Lepore. As we all basically know, natural resources are running out in the United States and throughout the whole world, as there's a growing demand for all of these resources. If everyone in the world uses much energy and natural resources as we do in the United States, the world would need 4 times the amount of energy and resources that it currently uses today. And we are basically improving all of our energy uses, but basically kind of for the wrong reasons. The reason for most people changing their energy usage is for cost instead of to be better for the environment. And with all the technology we have today, many people are learning to get more out of the energy fuels that we have. They're learning to make fuels go farther just using technology. The article discusses a few new ways to harvest energy, and I'm going to talk about those. The first is nuclear. It's been around for a while, but it's non-renewable, and it's very dangerous to use, as we know from Japan, sort of. It's kind of scared a lot of people, but it's also a very good way to harvest energy, but there's no way to get rid of the waste from it. Currently, there are many improvements on old ideas, like fusion energy and space satellites harvesting solar energy, and current sources have economic costs. They just cost a lot, like fossil fuels, obviously. We have to get from other countries, and that costs a lot of money also, and they have a huge impact on the environment. Some of these new technologies are much less harmful to the environment. One of the things that they have come out with lately, and they're starting to develop, is antennas that harvest infrared solar energy. It converts infrared light efficiently into energy, in which infrared light is actually, we feel by the sun as heat, and the antennas have to be the same width as the wavelength as the light, which is 1/25 of a human hair, so it's very hard to make these antennas, but one of them doesn't produce a lot of energy, but when you put millions together, they're starting to be able to harvest lots of energy just from a few sheets of like paper. They put them all on one paper, and if they put it out near the sun, they can harvest energy much more efficiently than solar panels. The next thing I'm going to talk about in the article discusses is nuclear fusion. And that is taking 2 nuclei and putting it into one nuclei, and it's plasma nuclei that they do this with. The only problem they've come out with this is that containing the plasma, because it's obviously nuclear, and it's hard, they can't let it escape, and they're having troubles containing it a little bit, but it's much more safe and clean than the conventional nuclear energy ways. The last thing that the article talks about is artificial photosynthesis. A scientist realized that cobalt was used in the process of photosynthesis with some plants, so he took and used sunlight to convert water into hydrogen gas and oxygen just by using an element that we have available to us, cobalt, and artificially created photosynthesis and create something like water that's easy to get into a very useful resource. the last thing I'm going to talk about is space-based solar energy, and this one has not been developed as much, but they're kind of getting there. Since the space program dissipated, space travel is becoming more commercial, and it's becoming easier for this to be possible. The main objective in doing this is getting expensive space equipment, or expensive equipment into space, and obviously the space travel being commercialized, they have to have companies that are willing to do this, and it would allow for continual energy collection in space, because it's obviously closer to the sun, and there's no turning of the earth that causes night, so that they can harvest all 24 hours. And they're closer to the sun, so that they get more energy from the sun. They would have to do this actually on the moon, and they're also looking at a few other possibilities of places to do this. What they would have to do is energy would be transferred from transmitters back to Earth, and then be collected on Earth. And these will be very practical once they get things kind of under control, and it'd be a great way to harvest large amounts of energy. These are all the things that the article talks about. These could be great future alternatives for energy. Maybe once we're older, they're going to be major parts of our lives possibly, and who knows what they'll come up with next, and hopefully some great things come out of it. Thanks for watching.